Hey friend, welcome to the Momfluence podcast. I'm your host, Sonia Cacique. I'm a mom of twins, a licensed school counselor, an educator, and an entrepreneur. This is our community where we get to walk together while building a network of people and resources so we help our kids reach their personal goals and career aspirations. You'll hear episodes with tools and strategies while also sharing stories from a wide variety of experts in the field. Because truly as moms, we are our kids' most influential influencer. So come with me and let's get started. Hi friend, welcome back, our second episode. I'm so happy you are here with me today. I just want to say thank you to everyone who listened in to my first episode last week. Hearing from you was the icing on the cake. Thank you for the DMs, the messages, the feedback, the reviews. It all means a lot to me because this is what helps our podcast and our community grow. So thank you very much. If you're not currently following me on Instagram, or if this is your first time listening in, follow me on Instagram. You can type momfluence.podcast, or you can see the link below on the show notes. And it's a great way for us to communicate directly so you can get notes or notifications when the next episode is being released. So it helps us communicate more directly. So thank you so much if you're already following me on Instagram. And if not, then definitely come join us. Speaking of reviews, if you like what you hear today, I would greatly appreciate a personal review on Spotify or Google Podcasts, whichever one you're listening in from right now. It really helps to share so other moms can find us as well. I definitely appreciate the personal recommendations with your family and friends, but if you do a review on each of these, Spotify or Google Podcasts, it definitely helps us to just extend the word about our wonderful podcast. So if you could do that, that would be greatly appreciated. And speaking of Google Podcasts, I want to say thank you to my audience and friends who immediately messaged me after I had posted that it was available on Google Podcasts. Y'all quickly responded to me saying, no, it's not on there. So thank you so much. That's the kind of feedback I need. But you can find it there. Maybe you're already listening through Google Podcasts. So yes, it's out on Google Podcasts now. And again, thank you for the feedback. If you had technical hiccups last week and you're still listening in, thank you. I'm so glad you stuck around. You're not leaving me behind, so thank you so much. I appreciate it. Today's topic is self-care. You're probably thinking, wait, what? I thought this was a podcast to help me encourage and motivate my child. Exactly, friend, this is. But in order for us to give and encourage our children, we need to take care of ourselves first. Before becoming a mom, if you listened to my first episode, you know a little bit about my personal mom journey. And if you haven't, please check the first episode from last week. But when I was not a mom and working, it was very easy for me to focus on me. After waiting for so many years before becoming a parent, then I became a parent and it was all about them. Oh, and I have twins. If you haven't listened to my first episode, I have boy-girl twins. And so once I became a mom, it was about them. I was pouring myself out left and right for them. And there comes a point where you realize that you keep giving, but sometimes there's not much more you can give because you haven't really taken care of yourself first. And I think this is important. So this is a great topic to talk about and to discuss. By the way, I want to say thank you to my non-moms who are listening in. I heard from some dads and aunties and grammies. By the way, shout out to my sister who is experiencing being a Grammy for the first time. And I'm seeing how she is, pretty much going the mom journey too. Almost like being a second mom. So please don't feel like this podcast is just for moms. We're all playing a mom role in one way or another, whether it's dads, uncles, aunties, or Grammys. So thank you and keep listening in. There's a little bit for everyone. So now I ask you, when is the last time you showed self-care to yourself? So think about that for a little bit. I know personally, I can tell you, I did that this weekend. I got to hang out with my girlfriends, talk and relax, and enjoying some time away from home. It really fills my cup up. It doesn't necessarily happen very often, but when it does, it really rejuvenates me. And so I ask you, when's the last time you showed yourself some self-care? So let's move on to what self-care looks like. Well, it depends. It depends on you, honestly. Everyone is different. Some people like to be alone and just have that time alone, whether it's jogging or walking, going on an outdoor adventure by yourself, driving by yourself for a couple of hours, or just getting out of the city. For others, me in particular, I like more being out in the community. I like being surrounded by friends. I like talking to my girlfriends. And so that's what it looks like for me. For self-care, you probably won't find me by myself anywhere. For me, it's being surrounded by others and enjoying other people's company and talking with others. I actually do enjoy time alone. I like walking and exercising, but that's more of relaxing. I do that to relax myself, but for personal self-care, what really fills my cup up is being around others and just talking to my friends and being able to vent and discuss different topics, relax and just have a good time. So for you, it's maybe having a mom day like that, hanging out with some friends, maybe just one friend and spending that quality time with that one person, or getting a little get together, hanging out with a couple of friends. For others, exercising definitely fills their cup up. Again, for me, exercising, it really just relaxes me and makes me feel good. But what really fills my cup up is just socializing and being out and about with my friends. If you're like me, maybe finding a group to join can help you. Whether it's an exercise group, a Bible study group, a mom's group, it's a great way to also network, but also to help fill your cup up. Another way is by setting boundaries and being able to say no. I'm very guilty of this. Actually, my mom and I are pretty similar in that manner, that we tend to say yes, 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 even if we are squeezing ourselves tight, where we think we might not even be able to do it, and we still say yes. And so that's something that I personally am working on. But that is also showing self-care to yourself by saying no and really trusting that there will be someone else who will be able to do whatever it is that it's being asked of you. Talking to others and just venting can help you provide some self-care. So I have a lot of support. I have my husband and I have family very close by. I'm involved in a lot of groups with moms and friends, so I have a pretty big community. But if you don't, or if you're a single parent, for example, then self-care might look like grabbing the phone and talking to a close friend. Even if you're not even in the same city, sometimes it's as easy as doing a video call with them and just being able to open up and have that discussion. Grab yourself a cup of tea or a glass of wine and just act like y'all are hanging out and enjoying that time together to talk. Speaking of single parent, so if you recall the phrase, "It takes a village to raise a child," I think this applies to all of us. Whether a single parent or not, we really have to depend on others, especially for self-care. I do want to have an episode specifically dedicated to this, but I want to touch on a couple of points here. Building your community is pretty much being out there and speaking more with your neighbors, for example, or your church community. Maybe other parents from your kid's school. There are a lot of people out there that are probably more willing to help you than what you believe. And so really taking the opportunity to just make the phone call or extend your hand and say, "Hey, I need help. I'd really like to hang out a little bit more or get to know you better." I promise you that no matter where you're at, there is someone who is more than willing to share that time with you. And then that's how you can build a little network of resources. Get to know more of your community members or build your friends groups that you can reach out to and give yourself that self-care that you need. I think this was one of the first summers that I really reached out to friends and families to get my kids to hang out with them for some time. And honestly, it's kind of like a win-win. Although I asked for their help, not necessarily for self-care, but because I work from home, they were able to help me out in that manner. But what I realized is that my kids got to learn a lot too from them. Of course, it was people I absolutely trusted and loved, but it was nice for the kids to come back and share their experience that they had. The things they learned and being able to spend that time mainly with family for us because we do have family very close, but it was nice for them to come back and share that with us. And so it's kind of like a win-win. If you feel like you feel stuck, send me a DM. I will always try to find a way or maybe an idea that might help you just tap into some of those resources that you do not believe that you have out there as far as building community with others. I will have more on building community on another episode. So who needs self-care, you ask? Well, we all do. Moms do, of course, but also dads and aunties and grammies. Again, we all do. We all need to fill up our cup up to be able to pour life onto others. So friend, if you find yourself ever thinking, my cup is empty and I have no more to give, then it's time to give yourself some self-care. And don't do what I used to do. I kept thinking, well, it's just this situation. Next week will be better, or next month will be better, next year, or when my kids are more independent, when my kids are going to school, when my kids move on to college. No, we can't wait for that next opportunity. This is our opportunity to start taking care of ourselves. Yes, this is a season and our life will be compiled of many seasons. But right now, this moment, what can you do for yourself? So just something to think about. This also makes me want to share something with you. This podcast is not about telling you what you should do or that this is the only way you should do something. It's honestly an opportunity for me to say how I feel about something, but also for me to be able to listen to myself and encourage myself as well. Earlier, I talked about building community. When I help a friend out, when they ask me for an advice, an idea, or a suggestion, I do it because I know that when I need something, I can reach back to her and say, hey, this is going on, and sharing with them what I'm going through. Because sometimes when we're going through situations, we tend to forget the things that we have even already told others. And so we need our community to remind us of that. And that's what this is all about. It's about reminding each other as we continue to grow, as we continue to go on in this mom journey together. We can help and depend on each other on those times of needs or the times that we just need words of encouragement. Sometimes that's all we need. We just need that, oh, I get you. I totally understand where you're coming from. And the words of encouragement will help us continue going. So friend, now I ask you, what are you going to do in the next day or two, or even the next week at minimum, to provide yourself some self-care? Send me a DM, send me a message. I'd love to hear what self-care looks like for you and what you plan to do for yourself to provide yourself with some self-care. Don't forget, accountability is pretty important. When we have someone that we told that we're going to do something and they're there to kind of like really set that accountability on us, it really just encourages us to continue going. So if you need an accountability partner, I'm here for you, friend. Listen, whether it's mom, dad, auntie, grammy, uncle, you're doing a wonderful job. You're amazing. You're great. Keep on going because we're all playing this mom role. Have a great day, guys. I'll talk to you soon. Hi, friend. Thank you for listening in. If you enjoyed this episode, it would mean so much to me if you share it with a mom friend. Send it to her right now. Or even better, tag me on your Instagram story so I can personally thank you for helping me build our community. I'm so thankful for each and every one of you. Let's keep in touch and I'll talk to you soon. Adios.